I looked into his eyes. And even though I never saw the anvils chained to his arteries, I knew his heart was heavy. The way he let his tears free fall, I could sense that depression made his mind a theme park that he couldn't escape from. But when he spoke, I listened. When he said, "I'm convinced that God ain't fair. Because if he was, how could he allow a child to be confused about the occupation of his father?" I used to think Dad was a plumber. You should have seen the way he tended to those cracked pipes. If only he could have unclogged the pride that stopped up his eye from seeing that he was full of it, that he was full of excuses. I could have sworn that he was a full-time impersonator. His favorites were Houdini and Casper. I wonder if he ever got a promotion because he did those jobs so well, and my mother could never sew well enough to stitch this grave-sized hole in my soul. Well, I concluded he must have sewed wells for a living the way he left us drowning in despair. You say God's good, he cares. I say, how could he dare not protect my little sister from the unthinkable? Why did incest become more than a word in the dictionary that she wasn't old enough to spell yet? Nor was I old enough to stop Uncle from giving such English lessons, and now she's an open book, judged by her cover. But it's only an attempt to hide the torn pages of her past. Her story is twisted. See, molestation says, "I hate you," while using an act that was designed to say, "I love you." No wonder her heart had grown dyslexic. What a wretched collage of mixed messages. We never intended to make God illiterate to our pain. But I guess now we're stuck on this never-ending horror film of a merry-go-round. But for us, cotton candy doesn't exist. See, it's not a game when the only prizes are disappointment and grief. And I assume that this spectator of a God sits back, feet up, with amusement parked on his face, entertained by this Holocaust, dressed like a carnival, because for him, it's only a fair. How fair is this? How fair is this? I responded. Well, you're right, this isn't fair at all. See, your respiratory system is in direct violation. You've blatantly broken the laws of the one who issued you your license to breathe. I'm appalled. You still have the drive to question that, yet expecting that your survival would be ensured. How many times do you have to be told? How many times do you have to be told the oxygen hiding in the garage of your chest can be instantly repossessed? If he didn't care, he would have lashed back at the backlashes. I get flashbacks of how the stubborn tails of those Rosa Parks whips sat in the back of them. And I still have a dream of how our true doctor and king met his death by assassins who made sure his civil rights were trampled upon, the way his white meat was exposed when them black tips segregated his back skin. But for your sake, he never cried injustice. And I understand there's a lot of tension, but for a second, can you please put your picket sign down and recognize that we are all walking OJs with Zimmerman faces, blood soaking in our palms from every Nicole and Trayvon. But see, our sin made a perfect man taste of a death that we set the table for. So what were you saying about injustice again? And just because someone has turned their back on you, you want to front on everyone else and hate God as a result when he is the one that has the best plan for you and your loved ones. Tell your sister that every book has a beginning And her story can become his story when she makes God the author of her faith. He'll say, when it is finished. It's not over. I ain't kidding. Once you give this God some space, he'll Bruce Willis that Armageddon. Because what was meant to destroy you hasn't. Now you must use it to restore others, and you'll notice how the Holy Spirit will begin to teach you tongue twisters, the way he takes trials and turns them to triumphs and testing the testimonies. They'll think you've been taking tutoring tips from a twirling on top of Taz's tornado when you talk. People will either get blown away or lifted up, and he's known that. Just like he's known you. Like the ultrasound of your existence has been echoing in his ear for eternity. So what's written on your birth certificate is not your name. It's the title to the favorite song on his playlist. The fact that you're still standing here is evidence there are angels. If you ever claim that God hasn't been good to you, you're lying. And you still haven't gotten up from your bone-chilling bed of iniquity, yet he covers you because he typed his image into the computer of your DNA with no ink, his fingerprints. I'm in love with you. So I told him, the same way I'm going to tell you. I don't care where you're from, what you have, or what you've been through. Your life is a movie, and you've only been given a clip. I said you've been given a clip in case you think you haven't had a fair shot. He knows. Cock back, reload, cock back, reload. And when your back is against the wall, just look to the ceiling, and you will never be floored that this world is a room called chaos. But there's a window. Open it and look outside yourself. And it should make your head spin when you realize that God has always had the Ferris wheel for your life. See, Christ's crucifixion was the most unjust atrocity ever committed against an innocent victim. That he endured that roller coaster of injustice just to prove that this world isn't one of justice. It just is. That he isn't just a just God. He is so far beyond that. He is just God. And he loves you so much that he's broken the rules of this theme park because he knew you'd fall short. But he's allowing you to stand on the rock so that you meet the mark to enter his bloodline because he wants you to ride with him. So get in, but wait. Loving him back is only fair.